combos. Absolutely insane for its combos, because all of its combos, it has 4 one-card combos that you can pull off with just 1 copy of Blue Eyes White Destiny, which is pretty insane and very, very cool. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at all 4 of those one-card combos. Again, you only need 1 copy of this deck. Having multiple just makes it more consistent. And the really cool part about this deck is that the first 1-card combo and the main combo you want to do, we already have 3 copies of the card for it, Sage with Eyes of Blue. So let's get straight into that. We'll have a look at what this combo does, how you can pull off your combos with 1 copy of the structure deck, and then at the end of the video I'll talk a little bit about what you can do when you have multiple copies. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. But the first card is Sage with Eyes of Blue, and any random card in your hand. So here's what we're going to do. Start off by normal summoning your Sage with Eyes of Blue from your hand to your field. This will trigger his effect, allowing you to add a level 1 light tuner from your deck to your hand. We're going to go ahead and grab our Maiden of White and add her to our hand. Next, we're going to activate the effect of Maiden of White in our hand. Her effect allows us to send her to the graveyard in order to place a True Light from our deck face up on our field. I like to have this in like a different spell and trap card zone rather than the center, just so we have space for our infinite impermanence, because that's normally where people play, but True Light will chuck that on our field. Next, we're going to use our Sage with Eyes of Blue, link him away in order to summon your Spirit with Eyes of Blue into your extra monster zone, so I'll just put that there for now. And then when the Spirit is link summoned, it allows you to add Mausoleum of White from your deck to your hand. So we'll go ahead and add that and just activate that, putting it in the field spell zone. Okay, next up we're going to use the effect of our True Light to add a spell or trap from our hand that mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon. So we'll go ahead and add Wishes for Eyes of Blue, and then we'll activate that. And now this is where the extra card in our hand comes into play. So we'll activate Wishes, discarding a card from our hand to the graveyard in order to add 2 cards from our deck to our hand. That'll be a level 1 light tuner, our Sage with Eyes of Blue, and a spell or trap that mentions Blue Eyes, that being our Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons. There are other lines where you can add something like Majesty to your hand instead, but this will allow us to go into our full combo and extend out into the field that we really want with this deck. That being said, if you already have any of these cards in your hand, just add a different one. So next we're going to go ahead and activate Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons. This will allow us to special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon to our field from our deck in defense mode. Now this is actually going to trigger the effect of our Maiden of White in the graveyard, special summoning her to the field when a Blue Eyes is special summoned to your field. And now we're going to go ahead and activate the effect of Wishes for Eyes of Blue in our graveyard. By banishing this card from the graveyard, we can take a Blue Eyes fusion monster from our extra deck and equip it to our Blue Eyes. So we're going to go ahead and equip Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, and I'll talk about why in a sec. So now we're going to use our Blue Eyes White Dragon and our Spirit with Eyes of Blue, 2 dragon monsters, link them away, sending your Neo Blue Eyes to the graveyard in order to link summon Heretic Seal of the Heavenly Spears. This is our first very powerful card that we're going to end with, so we'll put that on board for now. And then we're going to go ahead and activate the effect of Mausoleum of White on our field, targeting our Maiden of White, which will then trigger our Maiden's effect. So Maiden's effect, when she's targeted by a card effect, you can go ahead and special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your graveyard, and then Mausoleum of White will send another from our deck to the graveyard, increasing our Maiden's attack by 800, but that doesn't really matter. So next we're going to go ahead and summon our Sage with Eyes of Blue from our hand. So we can use Mausoleum of White, gives us an extra normal summon for a level 1 light tuner. We'll go ahead and normal summon him, triggering his effect, and we'll add an effect Veiler to our hand just for an extra negate during our opponent's turn. Finally, we'll take our Sage with Eyes of Blue, use him to tune our Blue Eyes White Dragon, and summon our Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon to the field. Now, this is the basic end board that you want with this deck, and it is actually pretty damn powerful. It's a very nice board to finish on, so let me just talk a little bit about what we've got going on here, in case you don't already know. So during our opponent's turn, we have a lot we can do. The first thing that we can do is the effect of our Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. His first effect is that neither player can special summon 2 or more monsters at the same time. So this Doesn't do a lot nowadays. It was a lot more prominent in the days of pendulum summoning when you could do that. But in some decks, I don't know what, but there might be something out there that can summon more than 2 monsters at the same time. That's not so much important. His other effect can negate cards that activate in the graveyard, which is good against certain decks that have effects that trigger in the graveyard. But his final effect is what we really want to focus on. So he also has an effect that allows him to tribute himself in order to special summon Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon from our deck. Now this card is very powerful as it can negate anything. It can negate a spell, trap, or monster effect. Absolutely fantastic card and can be brought out during our opponent's turn with Spirit Dragon's effect. The next card to look at is Heretic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres. So this card has an awesome effect that allows you to tribute a dragon monster to return one of our opponent's cards to the hand. So that's obviously great for disruption. So we'll use its effect, tribute itself to return an opponent's card to the hand. Then, when this card is tributed, it has another effect that allows us to special summon a dragon monster from our deck, but its attack and defense becomes 0. So the 2 options for this are, of course, our Blue Eyes Jet Dragon and our Dragon Spirit of White. That's what it's called, right? These 2 cards are great for just bringing out, just for their effects. So let me talk about this for a second. Blue Eyes Jet Dragon protects other cards you control from being destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So if your opponent runs a lot of destruction cards, this is a great card to have. It's also a good card to have in the graveyard as it will special summon itself. Dragon Spirit of White, however, when this card is special summoned, will allow you to banish a spell or trap card that your opponent controls. So this just helps clear the back row. This card helps protect your monsters. It depends what you're going up against, what you want to do, but we have both options in the deck. Very easy to summon off of Heretic Seal's effect. Finally, of course, you have Effect Veiler in the hand to negate an opponent's card effect, and we also have True Light, which will allow us to either summon a Blue Eyes from our hand or graveyard, or set one of our spell or traps from the deck. So normally what I would like to do for this is prepare for the next turn by either setting a trap such as Majesty, or Ultimate Creature of Destruction, or even your Destined Rivals. The other option is, of course, Ultimate Fusion if you want to go for an OTK on the next turn and you have a decent board set up. All of those cards are just fantastic to set and just be available to activate on your next turn. So that's all you really need to know about this deck. The rest of the combos are very similar, but I'll go through them anyway just to show you the different lines that we go with all the different starter cards. But basically, when you're running this deck, if you're gonna combo, the main thing you're looking to do is have your Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon and your Heretic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres both on the field, and that'll just sort you out. That's a very easy combo to pull off, very easy to do, and just gets you going. Oh, the last thing I almost forgot is our Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon in the graveyard. When this card is in the graveyard, it actually provides protection from targeting effects that would target your Blue Eyes monster. So that's why we equip that, so that we can send it to the graveyard, and just provides another layer of protection. So that's another thing that you want to do when running these combos. Alright, so the next combo we're going to look at is 1-card combo Maiden of White plus any card in your hand. So Maiden of White, this combo is not quite as good, but will still end up with the same end board with your Heretic Seal, your Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, and of course Neo Ultimate in the graveyard. The only difference is you don't have as much extra play like your Effect Veiler or any other card that you would add to your hand. So we'll start off by activating the effect of Maiden of White in our hand, sending her to the graveyard in order to place True Light from our deck face up on our field. Next we'll use the effect of True Light to go ahead and set Wishes for Eyes of Blue to our field. We'll activate Wishes, discarding any card from your hand, doesn't matter what it is, in order to add Sage with Eyes of Blue and Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons. These 2 cards will allow us to basically combo off the same way that we did before. So first we'll activate Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons, special summoning a Blue Eyes White Dragon from our deck in defense mode. This will of course trigger the effect of Maiden of White, special summoning her from the graveyard. Next we'll normal summon our Sage with Eyes of Blue, use his effect to search for any level 1 light tuner. I'm going to go ahead and add Effect Veiler to the hand just to have her for interruption on the next turn. Next we'll use our Sage, link him away into our Spirit with Eyes of Blue. The rest of this is all very similar. We'll use our Spirit to add our Mausoleum of White to the hand when it's summoned and place that on the field. We'll use the effect of Wishes from the graveyard, banish that, to equip our Blue Eyes with Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, and then we'll go ahead and link our Blue Eyes and our Spirit in order to summon Heretic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres. Next, we'll use the effect of Mausoleum of White, targeting our Maiden of White, which will trigger her effect to special summon Blue Eyes from the graveyard. We'll send another Blue Eyes to the graveyard, and then we'll tune our Blue Eyes with our Maiden of White in order to summon our Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. This is very similar, if not exactly the same as the board we ended on before, with Effect Veiler in the hand as well. So again, Heretic Seal bounces an opponent's card, special summons a dragon from the deck. Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon tributes off into our Omni Negate Ultimate Spirit Dragon, and of course we have Neo Blue Eyes in the graveyard for the targeting protection, and True Light on the field for extending your plays. Very easy combo, very easy to pull off a powerful board for the opponent's turn. Now let's move on into the third one-card combo. Alright, this next combo is going to end a little bit differently, but still very powerful, and we start off with Wishes for Eyes of Blue. This card as well, a one-card combo, nice and easy, and if you're lucky, you might get two of these in your structure deck. You might also get two Maidens of White. Apparently, it's random chance. You might get two of neither of them. I don't know, but that's what someone told me. So, Wishes with Eyes of Blue, plus one card, obviously. Let's get into it. So, we'll activate Wishes, discarding our random card from the hand in order to add a Sage with Eyes of Blue. Plus, this time we're going to get Majesty of the White Dragons to our hand. Now, you can go for Raw with this effect like we normally would. The reason I go for Majesty now is just so that I can set it at a random time rather than setting it with True Light. I can set it with a bunch of other stuff so our opponent doesn't know where it is. They know it's there, but they just don't know where it's coming from. So, add Majesty to the hand, or Destined Rivals. Majesty is probably the best bet since we've already got enough negates with this deck. Next, we're going to normal summon our Sage with Eyes of Blue, use his effect to add Maiden of White to the hand, and of course this continues as normal. We'll use our Sage with Eyes of Blue, link him away to summon our Spirit with Eyes of Blue, who will then grab Mausoleum of White from our deck. We'll place that in the field spell zone. Then we'll activate the effect of Maiden in our hand, sending her to the graveyard to place True Light on the field. We'll use the effect of True Light to set our Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons to our field. And then we'll activate Roar, special summoning Blue Eyes White Dragon from our deck, and then triggering the effect of Maiden in the graveyard, special summoning her to the field as well. Next, as always, we activate the effect of Wishes in the graveyard, banishing it in order to equip our Blue Eyes with Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, just to put him in the graveyard. We'll go ahead and use our Blue Eyes plus our Spirit with Eyes of Blue, link them up in order to summon Heretic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres onto the field. And then finally, we'll use Mausoleum of White, targeting the Maiden. Maiden's effect triggers special summoning a Blue Eyes from the graveyard, and then Mausoleum sends another from our deck to the graveyard. Finally, as always, we tune our Blue Eyes with our Maiden in order to summon Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. So this ends basically exactly the same way, Heretic Seal plus Blue Eyes, and now of course we set our Majesty plus any imperms or anything else that we have in our hand, setting those onto the field for another interruption on the opponent's turn. Alright, now for the fourth and final combo, which will be NeoKaiser Seahorse plus any card in the hand as always. This combo is a little bit less powerful than the other ones. We don't actually end on our Heretic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres, which is unfortunate, but it still ends up with a pretty powerful board, and I'm going to show you two ways that you can utilize this combo. So first of all, we'll normal summon our NeoKaiser Seahorse, and then we'll go ahead and use him in order to link summon our Spirit with Eyes of Blue. This is going to trigger the effect of Spirit as well as NeoKaiser Seahorse in the graveyard. So when he's sent to the graveyard, we can send one Blue Eyes monster or one monster that mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon from our deck to the graveyard. So we'll go ahead and send Maiden of White from the deck to the graveyard. And then with Spirit's effect, we'll add Mausoleum of White to the hand. Go ahead and activate our Mausoleum of White, putting that on the field. Then we'll use its effect, targeting our Spirit with Eyes of Blue in order to send Blue Eyes White Dragon from the deck to the graveyard. Next, we're going to use the effect of our Spirit, tributing it in order to special summon Blue Eyes from our graveyard to the field. Now, as always, once Blue Eyes is special summoned, we go ahead and special summon our Maiden of White from the graveyard. Now, there are different ways that you can pull this off depending on what's in your hand. For example, if you have Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons already in your hand, you can go ahead and activate that to special summon your Blue Eyes, thus bringing back your Maiden, which will then allow you to continue as you would normally, using Mausoleum to target the Maiden, special summoning a Blue Eyes from the graveyard, things like that. That will allow you to go into your Heretic Seal, but I'm just looking at the 1-card combo, assuming you have nothing else that you can do, and this is what you would go into. So next we're going to activate the effect of our Maiden of White, tribute, sending her from the field to the graveyard to place True Light on our field. We'll use True Light's effect to set wishes from our deck to our field, and go ahead and activate that, discarding any card from our hand in order to add our Sage with Eyes of Blue. And what you would add next, I would suggest adding Majesty of the White Dragons, just ending with that. Or alternatively, you could add Destined Rivals instead for extra negating power. However, what I'm going to show you in this version of the combo is a little bit different and I think a little more fun, though I would highly recommend it going for one of these instead. But this is just another option in case you already have these in your hand. So what we're going to do for today's video, just for the video, is go into Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons, adding that to the hand. Again, if you already have this in your hand, activate it earlier, bring out your Blue Eyes, summon your Maiden, go into all the normal plays. But for now, we'll add Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons to our hand. Next, we'll go ahead and normal summon our Sage, using his effect to grab Effect Veiler for another effect negate. And then we'll activate Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons, special summoning a Blue Eyes White Dragon from our deck in defense mode. Finally, we'll activate the effect of Wishes from our graveyard, banishing it in order to equip one of our Blue Eyes with Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. And then we'll wrap things up mostly like normal, so we'll use our Blue Eyes, tune them with our Sage to go into our Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, and then what we're going to do, since we don't have another dragon to go into our Heretic Seal, we're instead going to use our Blue Eyes equipped with Neo Blue Eyes, send them to the graveyard in order to summon our Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon, just to have him on the field. Now, this isn't the best card that we can go into, it's more of a going second card, to be honest. This card's better going second, but what it can do is special summon itself by tributing a Blue Eyes equipped with a fusion monster, so that works nicely. And then it's also unaffected by our opponent's trap cards, which is nice. It can attack all of our opponent's monsters once each, which is a very nice ability as well for when they swarm the field. Again, better going second, and then at the end of the damage step, if it battled, you can take a trap from your graveyard and set it on your field. So this is a very nice card to go into, and I just wanted to show one of the ways that we can go into it, but again, it would be better to just simply have Majesty or Destined Rivals set on our field, and then we can go into our Tyrant Dragon on the next turn. It depends if you're going first or second, what you want to do. But that is all for today's video. Those are all the main combos of the deck. Now, like I said, these combos can be done with simply one copy of Blue Eyes White Destiny, which makes this deck very easy to run, especially when it gives you 3 copies of Sage, which is the best combo to go into anyway. Now, if you run multiple copies, there are many videos out there already on Blue Eyes combos, things you can do. Most of them show what you can do with multiple copies rather than just one. But basically the gist of it is that you have an extra copy of your Spirit with Eyes of Blue, so you can summon the second copy to then use its effects to bring back a Blue Eyes from the graveyard to help you extend your plays and just get into more of your extra deck, like especially using especially when you open with NeoKaiser Seahorse. I think there's a combo in there. It also allows you to go into 2 copies of Blue Eyes Spirit instead of your Heretic Seal. Some people prefer to have 2 copies of Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. I prefer to have the Heretic Seal on the field just for a different option, but to each their own. Try it out for yourself and see what you think. If you want my deck list for 3 copies of this deck, be sure to check it out by clicking the card above or the thing in the end screen, which you'll see as well. But without further ado, thank you all so very much for watching. Let me know what you thought of this video. Let me know any combos that you have created. And as always, my name has been Senkara. Stick around for the next video on this deck.